My goodness, y'all. I am so ready to get in the Rocky Mountains and chase some bugling bulls and feel some cool temperatures. I don't know what to do. Morning, everybody. How's everybody in the YouTube world this morning? I'm at my favorite place to eat breakfast. It's about 5:45 and I'm about to go meet a truck driver, and we fixing to get articulating dump truck delivered down to South Mississippi. So y'all come on and go with us. All right, so we got it loaded up this afternoon, ready to go, binded down, got everything ready, and we're gonna get this dude hauled down to South Mississippi this morning. These Bell trucks, if you don't know, man, they are super duper hard to come by. It's funny, and I've heard from people in the business, you know, trucks are up, down, which I guess like anything. But right now, for every one we get in, they are just about spoken for and out of here. All right, rolling out. 51,000 pounds on the trailer. All right, so we got down here. Let me tell you something. That was the curviest little bitty road I believe I have ever been on down here getting this truck delivered. But man, we're really gonna have a good opportunity, I think, to help these guys down here a lot. So fixing to get Greg all loaded up and back on the road. Get it out. All right, so we got Greg all hooked back up to his trailer. Everything ought to be ready to go. He can get back towards Louisville. I think he's going somewhere else to see a couple of more customers. All right, so I ain't gonna lie. It is about 6:32, and it is hot out here. I think the temp got up to about 101 today. Tomorrow about 104. Like I said on the last video, I think heat index around 110 or something like that. But man, it is hot, and today's one of those days for me that it would be easy to say, hey, I ain't putting these boots on. I'm not walking in my tennis shoes. I put my hunting boots on. Lets me kind of get used to toting a little bit more weight. But today would have been one of those days, especially after the day at work and as busy and much ripping and running as I did. It'd be a day that I said, hey, I'm gonna just stay up in the house under the air condition, and I ain't getting out walking. But we're gonna all do this together, so let's get it done. So I took that bale, that B30, that 30-ton dump truck y'all saw down to Jackson this morning and delivered it. And I wanted to do some more videoing, but obviously back in the old Follow the Fanchers day, when I was riding down the road, I videoed some, but I can't do that in the work truck. Not supposed to do that, so I'm not gonna do that. And then once I get there, I start helping those truck drivers, man, get them binders and stuff off like that. And then my customers came up, so I wanna spend some time with them. So it's just hard to do too much videoing. And then the rest of the day, I was busy seeing customers. I actually rented 2 more 30-ton trucks today. I got them going out towards the end of the week. A Hyundai HX 220 and a Hyundai HX 160. So it's been the Lord is just blessing and opening doors. And it's funny because like the 2 guys that I went to see, or the 2 guys that I delivered the machine to today, I actually went in to see those guys several weeks back. And when I did, one of them said, hey, I think I recognize you. And I was like, and I've met and seen so many people over the last 16 years working like I did in the whole retail business and being in Starkville and Mississippi State, and so many people coming from down around the Jackson way. And then his buddy's like, yeah, the guy that owns the business, he said, didn't you used to work at Sports Center? And I said, yeah. And the guy was like, I bought a bow from you, from Owens Outfitters. And it was funny because once we started talking, I kind of remember the guy that bought the bow from Sports Center. He was actually there, and Mississippi State had got beat. And he said, man, I was in such a bad mood, and I was looking forward to bow season. It was early, so it must have been when they start in September. He said, I come in there, and I think he said he bought a Z7 Extreme. He said, I bought a Z7 Extreme from you. And the other guy had bought a V3 from me whenever I was at Owens. But anyway, I say all that to say this. You know, once I started calling on those guys, I had a guy tell me a long time ago, and this is biblical too, about relationships. And he told me, he said, hey, you always need people in your life. And that's what one of the guys said today. He said, you know what, man, first time I ever met you, and then they used to come in the store even more than that. He said, man, you just, you know, I went in other bow shops and I went in other retail stores, and you always took time with me, and you always made me feel important. But the main thing he said, you know, you really took care of me. And I have always, and I'm not gonna say I hadn't had bad days. I have bad days just like everybody else does. And I'm not always the nicest, most friendliest person in the world. My wife tells me all the time that I'm grumpy. I'm gonna tell you, when I come home in the evening like this afternoon, y'all, I have talked all day long. You can even hear it in my voice. Anyway, he said, you always took time with me. Well, that's the way you know, they were a customer. They're spending their good hard-earned money with me. Well, I felt like I had to take time, and, you know, if they were spending $20 or they were spending $2,500, which a lot of them do. So I'm kind of the same way on this equipment end too. You know, these guys are spending lots of money. The equipment that we're selling and that we're renting is new equipment. So, man, I got to make sure I'm spending as much time with them as somebody else would. Because if I'm not, guess what? Somebody else is. So you just never know. You never know what kind of impact you're going to have on somebody. And that goes the same way spiritually. You know, you go to church Sunday morning. Although we go to a little small country church, Murphy Creek out here, by the way, shout out to Murphy Creek. If you don't have a church home, you're not involved in church, you're not active in church, for whatever reason, Murphy Creek every Sunday morning at 11 o'clock goes live on Facebook. Get involved. Start spending some time with Jesus and us at Murphy Creek, and then start praying that the Lord will open a door to you, maybe a local home church there in your area. Maybe a pastor or church members will come visit, you know, and it'll kind of get you in the church door somewhere with a bunch of people that love you. But yeah, you just never know what you do for somebody else, what you say to somebody else, how you treat somebody else. You never know when that's gonna come back. Just like those guys this morning when I went to see them a few weeks ago, you know, if I hadn't have built that relationship with them back then, you know, I could have been a turd head or not giving them the time of day, and they might have remembered me, but they might have remembered me in a bad way. And now when I need them again as customers, they were all about doing business with me. So just always remember that. But all in all, it's been a really good day. You know, like I said earlier, I don't know, it just blesses me, and I am really humbled by all the people that kind of remember me from the past. And sometimes I'm a little ashamed because I can't remember them all, but always remember, you need people in your life, whether it be your family, your sons, daughters, your wife, your parents, kids. You always need your parents, people in your church, your preacher. And I know you may say Some of you parents, younger kids, you may say, well, you don't know my parents. Or some of you parents may say, you don't know my brother-in-law. He's the biggest sack of ashes that's ever walked. But I can promise you, nobody's perfect. I'm not perfect. Y'all are not perfect. So you always need people in your life. Always. Golly, I'm breathing hard today. I went about an extra half mile. I hadn't been doing this long enough to be adding nothing but idea. But anyway, y'all make sure y'all get out and get after it. I'm super excited. Next few days, man, Aiden's coming home for the 4th. I'm gonna get to see him. Y'all know the Fanchers, we're gonna eat good. Me and Aiden will probably do a little fishing, take Ainsley swimming. We're gonna try to do lots of fun stuff. Before I get off here, y'all say a little prayer for me. I gotta have 5 teeth pulled, 5. I don't know, somewhere here in the next week or 10 days. I'm sure we'll make a Follow the Fanchers video out of that. So, I'm terrified of a dentist. I hate a dentist, and a dentist is expensive. Anyway, I gotta get it done. It's kind of affecting my overall health. Lots of infection and stuff like that in my teeth, so gotta go see a dentist, but I'll keep y'all in the loop. But meanwhile, hope y'all are enjoying the videos. Remember, you always need people in your life. The Lord puts people in your life for a reason. Don't abuse them, don't mistreat them. Thank you for following the Fanchers. God bless. Jesus saves. I got about a mile to go. I'll see y'all.